Hi guys, it's Anne here, and we're back for another Shop My Stash this week. We are on week number 10. This is the last week I can do this, because I had 10 pimples. Whoops, we're in double digits now. I just feel like this project is just moving along. It's moving at a good pace though. I do like this weekly Shop My Stash. It's really forcing me to use my stuff a little more regularly, get through things, really try out stuff, really see how I like stuff. I remember saying last week that I wasn't too, jazzed about this. I don't know. And when I see it all together like this, it doesn't, spark a lot of joy, I guess, in this sense. But it was a really good week. I really enjoyed pretty much everything I used this past week. There are two things, though, I'm going to declutter. I know. This one's a little easier to declutter. So I'm decluttering this eyeliner from the Color Workshop. It's just not great. I don't really love the color on me. I have to press a little hard to get the color to come out, on my eyes. And you know what? I just don't love it. I really don't see myself using this going forward, so I might as well just declutter it. This one's a little harder to get rid of because it is usable. It's a nice enough product. It's the Pacifica Single Shadow in the shade Treasure. You can see by the packaging, this is pretty old. And I just, I don't really see myself using this. I already have this kind of a shade in so many palettes. I have a lot of singles. I don't really see myself just grabbing this and using it as a single. I kind of like to keep these for maybe travel, or I keep singles that are unique. There's nothing really unique about this. I really don't see myself grabbing this for travel. So I'm going to say goodbye to it. I think it's done. I think it's time. There's no way I'm going to pan it. I don't really care to pan it. I might keep this packaging if I can clean it out. Maybe this will go into a makeup breakup. I haven't done a makeup breakup in a while. I need to start I have a couple products that I didn't use in my last makeup breakup. Maybe this will go in the pile with that and we'll do one. I don't know. Probably have to add a few more products before we do a makeup breakup, but yeah. I'm going to say goodbye to this. I know. Who am I? What has COVID done to me and my brain? But I realized, with this project and going through items, I really need to be a bit more picky with my stuff. Everything here is good. I really enjoyed the blush and the bronzer from Becca. Highlighter's great. One of my favorite concealers. I really enjoyed this. This is the Brow Gal, just a brow powder. I really do like doing my brows with a powder. I did use someone's suggestion of I sprayed my brush with a setting spray before using the powder. I don't think it lasted very long. Because I was hoping that would maybe make it last a little bit better. I don't think it did a whole lot, maybe a little bit. The downside of using a brow powder for me is it takes a long time, but I do like the way it turns out. And the other downside is I don't feel like it lasts all day, but I do enjoy it, so I do want to keep it because I like it. And I really don't need to replace it. I feel like the quality is just fine on that. So yeah, so this is last week's picks. We're going to put all of these away and we're going to do this week's picks. Okay, let's start at the top. I did want to point out, I meant to mention this last week and I forgot. I've switched over to a spring. We are technically in spring, but it's freezing today. This is the time of year I kind of hate because spring is just a tease. There's moments where it feels like spring outside, but today it was nice and sunny. It looked like spring outside, but then it was really cold when you went outside. So I switched over to a spring candle. So these are my single eyeshadows. I pull out one single shadow a week. Forgot to mention at the beginning, as I pull items out, I take them out of the collection. They're going into a pile because I'm trying to rotate through every category in my collection. I think it'll take me till about mid-year to do that. So I'm going to pull this single out. This is the L'Oreal Infallible single in Amber Rush. I saw somebody post this the other day on the interwebs, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a really nice shadow. So let's go for it. So there's a swatch of it on my hand there. It's a really pretty color. I get why this is a fan favorite. It's really nice. Looks great as a one and done type shadow. Okay, sorry if you're shaking a little bit. Every time I move, the camera moves a little bit, so I'm trying to be super still. This is my top drawer with like my face products, foundation products. And as you can see, things are starting to look pretty sparse. So my whole primer drawer is empty, or primer box, because it's all in here. So as I was saying, I'm pulling everything out as I use it, and it's going in makeup bags that are sitting in a box. And so yeah, these are all the products that I was using. So I'm just gonna dump them all back in here. Here we go. I don't have a lot of primers. It took me, I don't know, I guess 9 weeks to go through all my primers, but that includes, I had 2 little foil samples that I used. So I only have 7 primers, and one of them's technically not a primer, it's a foundation mixer. That was what I was using last week. So I don't have that here yet. I will throw it in after you pick something, because I don't want to pick it 2 weeks in a row. Let's go with this guy. This is the Wet n Wild Glass Correcting Primer in the green shade. It's not super green. Kind of goes on a little green. Let's just do a little swatch here. So there it is on my hand, but then once you kind of like start rubbing it out, like the green kind of goes away. It's just sort of a illuminating type primer without being like highlighty, just sort of glowy, but not too much. Just feels really nice and smooth. I feel like it gives a nice smooth, ever so slightly tacky base for your foundation. So foundation, I'm just going to pull this guy because this is the last remaining light colored foundation. The rest of these I'm going to have to like mix. Actually, I think this one shouldn't be too bad. One of these ones shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, the rest of them are like sort of darker season ones. So this is the L'Oreal True Match foundation. This is in the shade W2. It's a little light ivory. It's not the best shade for me, but it's not bad. It is a little warm. I am cool toned. I do have another shade that's a better match for me. They did change this. The new packaging has a pump, but I think it's the same formula. I could be wrong. I haven't watched anybody's video yet on the new repackaged version. This is a classic. It's okay. When I did my foundation review, I think this one was my favorite of the L'Oreal foundations. So yeah, so that's this week's foundation. I'll do a little swatch so you can see the shade on my skin tone. So there you are. You can see it's a little yellow for me, but it's not too bad. We still have a lot going on concealer-wise. I'm going to pick a concealer that kind of drives me a little crazy because it's way too light, but we'll mix it with other concealers. Maybe mix it with my Project Pan concealer that I'm using. This is the It Cosmetics by Undereye Illumination Full Coverage Anti-Aging Waterproof Concealer. It's very thick. This is in the shade Light, and then in brackets it says Ultra Fair. It is ultra fair. Like, it is the lightest. If you're looking for light concealer and everything is too dark, this one should work for you, because it is like the lightest concealer I've tried. I just find it's a little, I don't know. I don't love it. I mean, I don't hate it enough to get rid of it. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Maybe after this week I use it and I don't like it, because I'm like as pale as I will ever be, and it's still too light for me. So that's it right there. But you need like the smallest amount. So that's why like, I've never put in a Project Pan, because it would take me forever to finish it, and that's just like a deluxe sample. And powder. I actually have a powder back here. Speaking of getting rid of stuff, I don't know if I'm going to keep this or not. I have seen somebody, so I've had this forever, 2017, I've had it for a long time. I've seen people pan this, and I've kept it because I think, oh, I'll put that in a Project Pan at some point. But will I really? This is the question. Will I really do that? This one's pretty low and pretty flat. I'd say like this one's halfway done. This is the matte side, and then there's the glow side. I used to be really oily, so the matte side was what I gravitated towards first. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll give it a go this week. See if I like it. It is supposed to be like translucent, but I do recall that it is like pretty light. Like it will kind of lighten your foundation a little. probably it gives flash, but who does flash photography? I don't. I never get my photo taken, let alone with flash. But yeah, we're going to go with this guy. I never even said the name of it. I don't even know what the name of this product is. Translucent Powder Duo from bareMinerals. A lot of people will recognize this because I'm pretty sure this was a BoxyCharm item in July of 2017. So that's everything from the top drawer. My next drawer is my eye drawer. So up in this corner, which you can't really see, is the brow products. Then I have eyeliners in these two, and then I have mascaras and some lashes at the back there. That's actually a mascara too, but we can see the mascaras are starting to get pretty low. I think I'm going to pull this guy. What do we have left in here? That's pretty much it. I've got the blue one. Those are lash glues, and then a mini. And I'm not going to open these ones just yet. So I have 3 here that I have not used, but I'm not going to open them just yet. I've had this one for a really long time. But yeah, we're going to go with this guy. Let's talk about what we're actually using this week. So this is the OG. Well, this is slightly different than the OG because it's the big one. And I didn't realize that until after I purchased this, what that meant. But it's the Maybelline Great Lash. This is like what I used in high school, sort of, because the brush on this one is massive. So that's not like a normal Great Lash brush. The camera will focus on it. There we go. It is bigger than the normal brush. It's not great. I remember really liking this, and I'm just like not impressed this time around. Again, I have a feeling that maybe this one, when it starts drying out, it gets better. Because I'm pretty sure I used mascara to the death when I was a teenager. There's no way I was repurchasing it every 3 months. It was like maybe every year. Maybe, if that. So that's our mascara. I only have 3 brow products left. Oh no, sorry, 4. But one of them is like it's a tattoo. So it's like you put it on your brow, and then you peel it off, and then your brows are tinted for a few days. Since I'm holding it in my hand, let's just go with it. I actually tend to use this before I travel. So like if I'm going away for a long weekend, especially if I'm going to like the cottage or the beach or something. So it's very reflective and it does not want to focus on it. There we are. It's a little red. Is there a shade on this? There must be a shade. I don't know what the shade is. If I have the shade name, I will put it on the screen. But yeah, I tend to use this like before I go for like a long weekend, just say. And that way I feel like I have some brows that are a little bit better without having to fill them in. Like, you know, when you get up in the morning, you're staying at the cottage with friends, you get up, you're having coffee. I look a little more put together and a little bit more like I have eyebrows, even though I don't. The only problem with this is it is red toned. I wish it was more cool toned. I know that there's more of these now. There was another one I saw. Maybe it's just repackaged. This one's getting kind of old, so I'm contemplating replacing it soon, like this year. So this is an item that I will probably declutter at some point this year and replace. Because I do like it. Even though it's a bit warm toned, I still think it looks better than nothing. Eyeliner. What are we going to do here? Let's go with this one. This is the shade Rockstar. So again, one of my favorite eyeliner brands. The Urban Decay 24/7. Rockstar is one of my favorite shades. There it is on my hand there. It's just a nice deep purple. Again, it's purple, but it has depth to it. It's maybe not as metallic as that Pure and Atom one I used last week, but similar in tone and depth. Really enjoy that. And I'm going to pull a black one because I've got a lot of blacks that I need to use. It's hard to pick them just because I have my black in my project pan. Let's go with this one because maybe this will be a declutter as well. We'll see how this one rolls. This is the other Color Workshop one, just like the one I used last week. That was like the light metallic blue. This is it in black. So we'll see how this how it applies, how it's lasts, how it stands up to wear and tear. It's pretty black. It's pretty creamy. Like this one's a better quality one than the blue. I mean, that's the thing with those Color Workshop things. I mean, yeah, they're super cheap. But there is stuff in there that's actually decent, but then there's also stuff that's really crappy. Like that's exactly what you expect it to be. So that's it. That's it for that drawer. Wow, we're just flying through this. Maybe we're not. I feel like I'm talking a lot today. But anyway, and here we are at the bottom drawer. Again, things are looking pretty sparse. There are a couple of loose highlighters back here. I don't think I'm going to pull those because I have them for mixing with other highlighters. However, I do have some like single pans in my magnetic palettes, which I think I will pull after because like I'm getting, these are at the same level. I have 3 and 3. Once I'm done these, I think I will pull those singles, at least for the highlighter and the bronzer. I think I have one contour single, and I know I have a couple highlighter singles. Anyway, we're not there yet. Let's focus on where we're at today. Be in the present moment. I struggle with being in the present moment. So, we're going to pull this highlighter. This is a fairly newish highlighter to me. It's a Rimmel highlight in the shade Stardust. We shall do a swatchy swatch. I had to repress this. I did a little video. That was my last makeup mashup video. That I repressed this in. It's a little gold, a little warm. I will probably like this better in summertime. But there it is. It's pretty reflective. But it's a really nice color, really nice quality. Let's go with this guy for bronzer. It's the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. This one's a little dark on me. It's more, I'd say it's more contoury than bronzer. It's not super warm, but it's got a little bit of warmth. But compared to some, at least the last 2 bronzers that I've left, which these are kind of summer bronzers, so they're going to be a little difficult to use now, but we're going to use them anyway because that's what this project is. But there's the Chocolate Soleil bronzer. So it's a little deeper. I wouldn't say it's cool toned, but it's not quite as warm or orangey as some of my other bronzers. And then blush. I want to play with this one. This is a nice, fun, I feel like this is a very good spring color, spring-summer color. This is from Colourpop, and it's the Sailor Moon collab, and this one is in Cat's Eye. Got this in a mystery box. I love that. It's so cute. And then that's what it looks like. Super cute. Someday I'm going to have to wear that little kitty cat away, which makes me sad. It's got a bit of sparkle in it. But I don't feel like that translates a whole lot onto the skin or like in the blush itself. So yeah, you can see there. It's not really, maybe it has a bit of a sheen to it, but it's not glittery, even though it kind of looks a bit glittery in the pan. I think those are going to work out really well. I mean, I feel like they're more summery-like. We're not quite there yet, but maybe it will help bring some spring weather into our lives. So that's all the picks. I will flip you around just to kind of recap those, as well as share. I do have some new palette picks to share for this week. All right, and this is this week's picks. I feel pretty good about this. I think it's going to be a good week. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to say. I think this will be really good. I'm interested in trying to see if I might let some things go after this week, or maybe not. Maybe I'll get back to old Anne next week and be like, yeah, I'm not ready to get rid of that. Don't be surprised if that's what happens. So palettes. So I did put away the 2 palettes that I was using. Actually, my Pan That Palette video would have already been up by the time you see this. So I talked about those palettes. So I did pull this one. I really wanted to pull this one this week. It's the Sugar Pill Little Twin Star palette. I like this palette. It's actually a good palette. Like, you can take this like traveling with you because it's like a face and eyeshadow palette. There's definitely like highlight, blush, bronzer in this if you really wanted to. But the pans are like massive in this. It's such a weird palette. But yeah, there's only 6 shades in this. So I was like, well, it's not super exciting on its own. So I want to pull another palette. And I was looking at palettes. I'm like, oh, I really want to pull this one. So I pulled the Mercury Retrograde from Huda Beauty. I've seen a few people panning this or panning shades in this. In the Level Up project and in some other projects. So yeah, I'm kind of inspired to play with this. I feel like it wasn't that long ago that I used this in my palette project last year. And to me, this is definitely more of a spring, in my head, it's more of a spring-like palette. So I want to play with that. But then I was like, well, I was looking at all my palettes and I'm like, I kind of want to pull another one. So I did. So I pulled this one. This is the Huda Beauty Nude Light palette. It's pretty similar to the Mercury Retrograde. Like it's like a little sister of it. I actually dropped it like right after I got it and smashed that shade. I'm lucky it wasn't worse. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I kind of want to play with this one too. So because I've pulled 3 palettes already, like I probably won't pick a new palette for at least 2 weeks now. I'm realizing after I finished filming my Pan That palette and talking about the palettes I've used, I still have so many palettes that I have not used, but that I like. So this is going to be an interesting summary on how that goes with picking palettes and the ones that I don't get around to. Because I know there's some that I'm not going to get around to that I'm like, yeah, I probably should let those go. But I know that there's probably some that I'm going to get around to be like, I like those. I don't want to get rid of them. So yeah, we'll just, again, that's the future. Let's be in the present moment. Just take a minute. Let's be in the present moment. We're here in the now. Things are good. So yeah, that's this week's picks. I hope you liked this video. If you did, feel free to give a little thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel here in Toronto, Canada. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye!